It's important for us to not only reflect, but to interrogate a lot of the structures, that are in place in this country.
And that's why people like you and I always get asked, so where are you really from?
White supremacy doesn't just kill people of color, it's also robbing white people of their humanity.
We want to be here just like every other American and live our best lives.
We all want to live our best lives every day. During Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we recognize the diverse cultures, the joy, and the contributions made by members of the AAPI community. Good evening. I'm Marcus Washington.
And I'm Jessica Aguirre. This is the 18th installment of our ongoing series, Race in America, The Conversation. And tonight, we're in the Asian Art Museum in San Francisco. The museum, founded in the 1960s, holds more than 18,000 works of art that bring diverse cultures of all Asians to life. A celebration of the Asian American life, experiences, and struggles.
Those struggles are ongoing. The violence in the Asian community is still happening. Many people living in fear. Those attacks have ignited a passion for people to not only speak out, but fight the hate.
No more! No more!
Tonight, the conversation about white supremacy, anti-blackness in the Asian community, and how we can all find similarities in our struggles.
We're also having a candid conversation on one of the oldest documented systems of exclusion. It is the caste system. It's a centuries-old social hierarchy that actually ranks human beings based on so-called purity and family position.
It's outlawed in India, but we found that caste discrimination is migrating here to the U.S., existing in both Silicon Valley tech companies and education.
And at the bottom of that caste system is Dalits, and they face bias, harassment, and often even violence in the workplace and on campus. Tonight we're joined by NBC Bay Area's Raj Mathai, Cal State East Bay graduate Prim Pariyar, the driving force in adding caste as a protected category on all CSU campuses, and Thenmozhi Sundararajan, founder of Equality Labs, a national Dalit civil rights organization. I asked Thenmozhi, what is caste?
Your caste determines your spiritual purity. It's based on the purity of your family. It's based on this idea that your family, who you are, is based on what you did in a past life, and therefore you're deserving of being born into an oppressed situation. Uniquely in the Bay Area, we have at least a 20-year history of looking at caste in workplaces and caste-oppressed people each time trying to fight back.
There's no off-ramp for that. It is what it is, what it is.
I was born in Pariyar family, so that is my identity, from birth to death.
Both of you say you're Dalit. Is that, I'm trying to understand exactly, is this an identity that you identify with, or this is something that's been cast upon you that you just cannot escape?
In the face of God, you are seen as disgusting, so dirty that if another person touches you, you would be defiled. And me, I would face violence for crossing those caste lines.
And you grow up knowing this?
Yes, you can't escape it because everybody knows your family, everybody knows where you come from. We call ourselves Dalit, and it means those who have been broken but are resilient.
You thought your caste wasn't going to follow you, that this was going to be a new start for you, but what are some of the things that you've experienced when you got here in terms of being labeled?
I came here in 2015, so I never expected I will be discriminated based on my caste identity.
Here
in the United States,
right.
Because I thought this is the country of for democracy.
We welcome immigrants.
Yes, yes. So, and people are educated in restaurant, right? So that was my initial career as a restaurant worker. So there, when I experienced, when I was not accepted, we were offered shared housing, for the workers in the restaurant, and in the shared housing, I could not share. I could not live with them.
You couldn't share a room with someone who was in a different caste from
Exactly.
you. They wouldn't want you?
Yes. Because
openly, they would say that.
Yeah, and I had to live in RV van, I was kind of like homeless that time. And I had to bear that because at that time I was struggling with my immigration status, right? And they know that.
That is really the story of so many caste-oppressed workers, whether they're restaurant workers or tech workers.
We came in the 70s. Prem, you came in more recently, within the last 10 years. What's disheartening and upsetting to me, and I would imagine for you two as well, is that this is not black against Indians. It's not whites against Indians. It's not East Asians against Indians. It's Indians on Indians. And that's hurtful to me, and it angers me. And to have it carry on here is fairly sickening. And actually, and what you guys are doing has been enlightening to me, because I know it exists to a certain degree, but I didn't know to this degree.
I know this is an overly simplistic question, but I am struggling to understand how you, I don't know, I don't have words for it. It seems so painful.
I mean, it is, you know, and
for nothing that you've done.
no.
And nothing that you can change.
Yes.
The grief that you're sharing right now, that's in the heart of every oppressed person. You know, my dad is Hindu and I grew up Hindu, and my mom is Christian, but my mom would hide all of the places that she would worship Jesus Christ, like in a little closet, because she was afraid of being found out, because a lot of South Asian Christians are caste oppressed, and she didn't want to out our family. My dad hid his caste identity until he was 74 years old. Imagine what it does to a person to never really fully be embodied.
And Raj, how do we do this in terms of children? I mean, because obviously you have kids, and like I think that's really what is the crux of this, like changing the dynamic for children. I think it is with all kids, isn't it?
Children are in the same boat as 40-year-olds and 80-year-olds here. I think what we're doing here is the ground floor. We have to create the awareness, and sadly, it's taken even 20 years here.
Yes.
But at least now, thanks to your organization, thanks to Prem, there's some awareness happening.
Now in January, we just saw the effort, the reward for your effort of what you've done, that we've seen the CSU campuses, all 23, actually put, you know, anti-discrimination caste verbiage into the policy.
Before this, like people, they were not aware of caste. Now this policy has like educated, you know, like, oh, caste is included in anti-discrimination policy. So this will start the conversation.
Right.
Right?
The reason why we're even having this conversation is that in 2020, the California Department for Fairness in Employment and Housing sued Cisco for the first time in American history for caste discrimination. And that was such a landmark.
What did that look like?
So it looked like many things. You know, first there was like open usage of slurs. It also included like attempts to identify this person's identity. Once his caste identity was known, it was shared within the department, and he started to get more and more siloed and isolated. You know, and of course, all of this is in litigation right now. So, you know, these are, you know, claims that were alleged by that worker.
And when we talk about specifically workplace, Silicon Valley, I know specifically right now a person that I'm in my social circle who's a manager at one of the big firms here, and over the years my wife and I have talked to him about, Indian guy, about not promoting, bullying, and harassing Indian members of his tech team. And I think part of it is the caste system, and I think the other part is what Americans would call bullying or hazing. In India, it's called ragging, and it's a really treacherous form. So much so my wife, Sonia, went to med school in India. She's Indian. She went to med school many years ago, and she was the outsider, and she got ragged so hard that she dropped out of school, moved back to the United States.
And I think going back to that question about children, you know, what are children capable of holding, you know? But I actually think that, you know, our younger generations want to have those complicated conversations.
You're onto something good here, because just like when you're a kid and you see your parents speaking out against blacks or Asians, those kids, they don't want to go that way. So young Indian kids will listen to their parents who are 50s, 60s, 70s, talking, or grandparents, talking about the caste system. And to educate the kids would be, hey, you don't have to go in that direction.
We have this movement in the country where we are, especially younger people, as to what Raj is speaking, and ordinary people that live in suburbs all of a sudden were like, what the heck? This is not fair. This is not right. So we saw that very much during George Floyd.
Nobody wants to live in a world where you can see a man openly murdered in the street and nobody does anything about it, right? I don't want to live in a world where someone who I care about, like Prem, is being excluded at his workplace. He has to live in an RV trailer, you know? I don't want to live with rape and death threats because I'm a Dalit feminist who talks about my people being free. We don't want to live in a world of caste apartheid. We want a world where we're all free.
And that really is a lesson for all of us. Now, we mentioned that case against Cisco. In a statement to us, Cisco told us that it doesn't tolerate discrimination of any kind. Cisco went on to say that an investigation found no caste discrimination or retaliation. Given our principles, we had found discrimination or retaliation, we would have remediated it, regardless of the fact that there is no legal basis in the U.S. for a claim of caste discrimination.
Up next, changing the conversation and fighting against anti-Asian racism.
Communities have felt invisible for so long, and that's where this is coming from. They want the pain of the community to be recognized.
But how do we change the conditions and the systems that are continuing to reward behaviors of assimilation and the standards?
There is no easy answer to that question. Up next, we discuss stereotypes of the perpetual foreigner, anti-blackness in the Asian community, and what is a resilient relationship. And welcome back. Yellow peril, perpetual foreigner, and undesirable immigrant, all part of the anti-Asian sentiment that has been dogging the AAPI community for decades, one that has escalated during the pandemic.
Activists have stepped up to the plate, answering the call, creating solutions to combat the problem. Joining this conversation, our own Robert Honda, reporter and host of Asian Pacific America, a weekly show covering Asian newsmakers, events, and community issues. Michelle Mijong Kim, activist and author of The Wake Up, and attorney Arthi Kohli, the executive director of Advancing Justice Asian Law Caucus.
This really uptick that we saw in Asian hate, the surge, and this kind of started really taking up about 2 years ago, which coincided with the coronavirus, and we started to see this whole yellow peril rhetoric. From an outsider's perspective, it seems that it's plateaued a little bit.
Because I don't know if that's actually true.
Okay.
Because for me, what I see is the mainstream media not covering it anymore. And when I look at the folks that I follow in terms of more ethnic media outlets or Asian reporters who are reporting on anti-Asian violence happening, it's still happening.
We've been too saturated?
Yeah, or maybe.
Or we've moved on to the next
we
story?
moved on to the next story because it's not as intense anymore from the perspective of the mainstream. But I don't think that the violence has stopped, nor is the violence new.
What I'm worried about is there's going to be a lot of anti-China rhetoric in this next election. We already see it coming from all sides.
Robert, do you think that we're not covering as much? Do you know, you're on the streets every day, you're in the pulse of this, and I know that you've done a lot of this coverage. Does it feel to you that we've passed the story by now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, to a certain extent, the beginning of it was all fueled by videos that were being captured by people, and so that grabbed a lot of attention. I don't know if it's plateau, but I feel as though a lot of the community has gotten over some of the initial shock of what was happening, and then the realization that this is a real problem, not just isolated incidents.
I'm South Asian, and so I remember what happened post 9/11. Some of the first people who were killed were scapegoated for 9/11 were Sikhs. And so when COVID started, we started hearing stories of hate. I knew what was coming. And I knew it was going to get much worse.
At what point do Asians in this country stop being the perpetual foreigner?
I think when people are living in fear and there's scarcity, people look for scapegoats. I think it's important for us to acknowledge that it's a pattern that we've observed, not just with Asians either, but for a very wide swath of people, whether it's the AIDS epidemic and the scapegoating of the queer and trans community, or 9/11 terrorist attack and the Muslim and brown Asian communities. And every time that happens, the narratives of white supremacy kicks in.
White supremacy is such a loaded word.
It really is. It really is.
People freak out when you say that because they think it's got to be, you got to be in a hood.
But it's more of a hierarchy too.
But it's not, yeah, right. It's not just about the KKK and the Nazis, right? When I talk about white supremacy, and feel free to chime in, I'm talking about the mythical belief that whiteness and the race of being white is superior than all other races.
Everyone wants to find someone that they are above. So if it's the black community looking at Asians, if it's Asians looking at, you mean
like jostling for position?
Yeah, no one wants to be on the bottom of the totem
But that's actually how white supremacy works.
Exactly.
They want you to aspire to be whiteness, and that's how it worked in colonialism.
Think how we battle that. It's more so owning who we are, our culture, our past. Like, I am black, I am brown skinned, my hair is kinky, my hair, my skin is brown, my nose is wide. I love that about myself. And I think once we start owning that, we don't want to be something that we're not.
I think part of the core issue is that we don't talk about how all of our struggles are actually connected. And how when we talk about fighting racism, it's not just about helping people of color, it's also about restoring white people's humanity too, right? White supremacy doesn't just kill people of color, it's also robbing white people of their humanity. But we don't actually talk about the ways in which all of our struggles are actually connected and how people, all of us, are being impacted by systems of oppression.
Let me take a twist here. What we saw during George Floyd, right, when there were those massive demonstrations across the country, we saw people of all colors. So there was this moment of shared unity where we were like, oh, wow, this is spectacular. And then the Asian hate thing started, right? And the narrative changed in which it seemed like blacks and Asians were against each other, right? Is this just a false perception?
There has been a history where we oftentimes do live together in communities. A lot of times there are a lot of Asian businesses within the black community, convenience stores, beauty supply stores. I can think about where I grew up. And I think sometimes in that interaction, something goes wrong. I can't.
What do you mean?
There's just a distrust, it feels. There's distrust when you go into an establishment that you're looked at as though you're going to steal something.
What's the breakdown then? So there are multiple things that I think we need to break down. So
it's layered.
It's very layered. And I think it relates back to what you were talking about in terms of people's mindset around scarcity. This manufactured rhetoric around scarcity is so dangerous and so useful as a weapon to divide our communities. So I think there have been moments that have exacerbated the mistrust that you were talking about among certain communities, namely the Asian and a lot of East Asian communities and the black community, like the LA riots and how there was a lot of unresolved resentment and hurt and trauma from what happened to the 15-year-old Latasha Harlins, who was shot and killed by a Korean-American business owner in LA, Sun Ja-doo. There is definitely work to be done around addressing the issues of anti-blackness.
And the data doesn't back that up.
And the data doesn't back that up.
The
Absolutely.
Majority of folks committing these offenses are white.
Right.
But one visual.
And that's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
If it's not a false narrative, it's an incomplete narrative for sure. I was in school when ethnic studies became a big thing. And I learned a lot more about history and the relationship between the black community, the Latino community, and the Asian community that I never heard when I was reading traditional kind of history and things like that. I mean, Frederick Douglass was very much publicly against the Chinese Exclusion Act. It go all the way to the Japanese defending Muslims, during the 9/11 and things like that. Minority communities have come to rally for each other many times through history. We just don't hear about it.
Are we at a point where being so aware is causing the so-called unaware to push harder?
We have to bring people along with us. I don't think calling someone out is always an effective way to challenge them in their bias.
So schooling someone doesn't work?
It depends on the context, but I would say get curious. Why do you think what you think? What happened in your life or in your personal experience to have this perspective?
If I hear you correctly, you're saying that the human connection is what removes our biases. Because when you know someone as a person, doesn't that erase all those prejudices you have against them?
The slippery slope there is that we end up using our connections as a shield to be free of accountability, right? And I don't want to be somebody's best friend in order for them to be not racist.
Yeah, there's one thing to acknowledge that there is a problem and you see it. There's another one to actually do something about it.
And any discussion that doesn't take into account socioeconomic factors, mental illness, institutional racism, if you don't include that in the discussion, then a discussion about racial prejudice and things like that is pretty superficial.
It's incomplete.
Yes, it's very incomplete.
And we've got a lot more to talk about. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. We're having a candid conversation that is really impactful. Robert Honda with me here, Marcus, Arthi, and also Michelle. You were talking about what the actual definition of Asian hate violence is. It's not just I'm shoving you on the ground. You say it's deeper than that.
Yes, I think we need to complicate the narrative a little bit. Absolutely, there's street harassment and physical violence and the robbery that's happening that is considered anti-Asian violence. And I think there is so many more types of violence that's happening that is both interpersonal and systemic. There's also targeted violence towards Asian women that's happening. There is also Asian queer and trans people who are marginalized because of their race as well as their sexual orientation and gender identity. There's, issues that are facing our poor, low-income communities. All of these things are anti-Asian violence too, in terms of how we need to be broadening the scope of the conversation and not just addressing what we see on TV or the violent, sensationalized videos around anti-Asian violence.
Yeah, I'm particularly thinking about our Southeast Asian clients. These are folks who came as refugees, were resettled came from violence and war, were resettled in neighborhoods that had more violence and trauma, often joined gangs for protection, were incarcerated as youth, and as a result of being incarcerated are now facing deportation to countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and that to me is a form of state violence.
Absolutely.
Michelle, you wrote that resilient relationships are the most undervalued social justice strategy. What does that mean?
I think we are quick to assume that creating policy changes is going to be the silver bullet to all of our issues. Once we pass a policy around hiring or quotas, that all of a sudden racism is going to be fixed. But that's not how the world actually works. We've seen time after time when new laws pass without the cultural transformation that backs it up, that the harm continues and the violence is continued to be experienced by marginalized people. What I've seen happen that is so lovely and magical is when our relationships hold us accountable. And our relationships become the bedrock of support and community care that we can provide to one another.
Can I flip that too?
Absolutely.
Because we actually won't get the policy changes we need without that cultural transformation. So I've been working on legalization, on legalizing undocumented people in this country for over 20 years. Because I started my work doing immigration policy work. And we still haven't had a legalization bill. Why haven't we been able to do that? Because we need a cultural transformation.
Wow.
And we need people to understand that these are folks who are part of our community.
That's what's so great about the word resilient, for one thing. You know what I mean? Because it's not implying like a relationship of convenience.
Right.
Resiliency means respect for the deeper relationship that's there and that it stays there through adversity.
To me, that means I'm going to walk this path with you. It's going to be hard, but I'm not going to veer off the path. And I think that's the core of what we can all agree on needs to happen. right?
It's about finding the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the commonality, the family within us all, because we all face similar struggles, and I think it becomes a beautiful thing when we can uplift each other through those challenging times.
Thank you. Great conversation. Very well said.
Yeah.
Uplifting.
Yeah, we're all we've got.
Yeah, you're right.
Go to NBCBayArea.com/celebrating AAPI heritage for more stories, including an East Bay Filipino American rapper's immigration journey.
And check out all of our series episodes at NBCBayArea.com/Race in America. From the Asian Art Museum in San Francisco, thanks for being with us.
Have a good night.